You are the one that makes or breaks your life. You. And there are things that happen that are awful. There are traumatic events, and there are decisions that you say yes to and you say no to. Everything has a ripple effect, and we can change our lives at any given time, and it takes time to have them change. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode. I'm so excited you are here. Do you want change? And I know deep down in your heart, something in your life you would like to change. If it's the matter of your career or business, or maybe it's your health or your wallet when it comes to your wealth, or maybe it's relationships or romance or family or adding more fun, or maybe you're wanting to amplify or connect more deeply with your spirituality. No matter what, there's always something that we can look at enhancing, changing, even demolishing, because change is inevitable. We all know this, right? The question is what do you want to change in your life? We are in the fourth quarter of the year, if you're listening to this when we first release it. And when we enter the fourth quarter, I know people start to really think about what's already happened from the beginning of this year to what's going to happen next year. And I think it's really important before you set goals for next year is to sit with what you want to truly change and what you're willing to give up and what you're willing to add on in order to have that change. Oftentimes, we don't look at what we're giving up. We just want the change. We don't think about all of the consequences that can occur with that change itself. And I find that oftentimes the universe won't gift you that change, won't gift you that manifestation until you fully understand what it is you're truly asking for. There is a saying, be careful what you ask for. Because oftentimes when we ask for things, our life will blow up. And it's not because it's a bad thing. It's sometimes absolutely necessary. In order to have what you want, sometimes things have to fall away. Can you make peace with that possibility? And I often find if you do have a harder time with change, understanding the little nuances and what can possibly happen. Now, we can't know everything because there's an infinite number of possibilities and an infinite number of outcomes that can happen. And everything works on free will. And so sometimes things just get very interesting. I'll just say that. But I think that that's what makes life really fun, is the synchronicity and the things that can happen without us really knowing. I was watching a reel on social media the other day, and there was a woman that posted a picture of her in front of a famous piece of architect in a different country. And she noticed that she was a teenager, and her husband was looking at that picture of her from when she was a teenager, and he was in the background of the picture. They didn't meet until I think 7 or 10 years later. And this is really cool. I've actually had this happen with myself as well. One of my good friends married a really beautiful soul, and she's actually transitioned. But when I went to go visit my friend and his lovely wife, I just can't get over this feeling. I know you. I just feel like I know you. And my younger sister and I, we went to a party, and this woman that my friend married ended up in one of my pictures from one of the parties we went to, and we hung out all night and we had so much fun. And it's just so funny how these synchronicities work. And sometimes we cross paths with certain people, and sometimes we have these little signs of synchronicity is because it shows us that we are in alignment. And I find that when we take the time to really sit with the possibility of change and sit with why it would be important to change and how you would have to let go of certain things in order for that change to happen, and how you're going to want to embrace certain things for that change to happen, we get into the energy of this gravitational pull of this is the frequency I want to be in. It gets you in this beautiful vortex of energy that says, I'm very, very serious and this is what I want. I'm very, very serious and this is what I want. I've looked at it from many different directions. I might not know all of the possibility, but I have looked at it and I have considered things that maybe I was naive to in the past. And I know for me, sometimes I have gotten myself in trouble where I'm just like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And then I realize when it doesn't happen, how grateful I am that it didn't happen, because I was not prepared for that type of change, because I didn't consider all of the things that would require that type of change. And for me, I'm just like, ooh, like, thank you. Thank you for pointing out some of my blind spots, some of my innocence, some of my naiveness. And I'm saying all these words in a positive way, because sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And I know that as a society, we can push and push and push and push and push and push and push ourselves because we want this thing. And then we get upset when it's not happening. And it's because it's this instant gratification and this societal norm, like I have to have it now. And there's all these videos and photos and things like that that circulate around the internet that make me think that everyone is getting exactly what they want right away. And what we're not seeing, and I do love people that do these videos, is what they're not seeing is all the hard work and dedication that they put in for years and years and years and years and years. I know for me, like, I've been working on my spirituality. I think I feel like, one, I started it when I was a kid. I would like pray to angels and I would talk to God and I would do these things, but this wasn't something that I was taught. But as an adult, I started showing up for myself in a major way starting in 2008. And that led me down a different path and led me down a different path and led me down a different path. And everything just starts to compound and compile because we're doing the work that we're meant to do. And if it wasn't for those decisions back then, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And so I'm really grateful for the decisions I've said yes to. I'm really grateful for the things that I've dragged my feet on. I'm really grateful for the no's that I've received from the universe and the hard lessons that I have learned. If you notice, I'm also talking about change from looking at this idea of what to expect, what not to expect, what you might be fearful of, but also moving into gratitude. Maybe you have wanted something to happen for a really long time, and I have found it by moving into gratitude for unanswered prayers, unanswered intentions. It allows you to raise your frequency. It allows you to have new opportunities to move into. And it's not about just saying, I am grateful. I'm grateful for this. It's feeling it in your body and bones. It's feeling it and really, really, truly meaning it. And how you know if you're truly meaning it or not, you are the only one that can decide if it's true for you or not. And I know for me, it's like, I have an epiphany, and that's when I know I'm like, oh, like, thank goodness, like I'm so grateful. Or there's this overwhelming gratitude sensation that overtakes my whole body, my whole being, and I'm just like, ooh, I'm so grateful for this, and I can really see why this didn't happen before and why I am at where I'm at and where my shortcomings were and where I did excel in. I think that it's important to also really weigh the scales of what you did right and what you can improve upon. Because when you sit there and you think about, like, okay, I did this and this, and it feels good that I did it that way. Am I curious about, are there other ways to do it as well? Absolutely. And then looking at the shortcomings, because sometimes it's our mindset, sometimes it's our inactivity or too much activity. Yes, there is too much activity. Some people can be doing too much, but not making space for things to come in, not making space for ahas, not making space for just receiving. And when we don't make the space and we're doing, we miss the cues of synchronicity. We miss the spiritual miracles that want to be bestowed upon us. And it's really beautiful when we do have that opportunity. Also, when it comes to change, are you willing to be in the driver's seat of change and let go of any expectations? I think oftentimes what gets people in trouble when it comes to change and miracles of these types of intentions and changes that we want to have is that we only want it our way and our way only. And this is where you miss the magic. This is where you put too much emphasis on this is the way I want it versus allowing it to be open-ended, where the universe, God, creation can come in and gift you with something better than you ever imagined. And this is the part where I really love change, because I could not imagine my life the way it is now 10 years ago. Like, no way. If someone said, hey, Amy, this is exactly what you'd be doing. This is the house you'd be living in. This is the type of lifestyle you would have. It would have been so far outside of my frequency and consciousness that I'd have been like, no way. But with that also being said, I was open to possibilities that I never imagined. I was open to changes that I could never imagine, and I didn't have certain expectations of how I wanted certain things to be. Now, let me get this really clear too. I am not at all perfect when it comes to manifesting. I have my own shortcomings, just like you have your own shortcomings. And for me, I know that when something doesn't go the way that I want it, there is too much expectation on how it is wanting to be in my mind and my mental body and in my ego, where it's like, these are the types of ways they expect it to be, and there's no room for those miraculous miracles. And so when I do have the opportunity to look at my shortcomings and look at where I am holding expectations and I'm not allowing the free flow of for this or greater to come in, I'm the one that's blocking myself. I'm the one that's blocking the magic. I am the one that has to take responsibility for my shortcomings. And I think this goes back to anything when it comes to our life in general. You are the one that makes or breaks your life. You. And there are things that happen that are awful. There are traumatic events, and there are decisions that you say yes to and you say no to. Everything has a ripple effect, and we can change our lives at any given time, and it takes time to have them change. And so know that you're responsible for your life. I'm responsible for my life. And if you have children, you're responsible for teaching them how to have their best life as well. And then once they become adults, they're responsible for that. No matter what, we all have to take accountability and responsibility for our ability to change and our inability to change, and get curious and be willing to allow ourselves to just be, and to be open, and to sit with curiosity and so much more. So are you willing to sit with what you want to change, why you want it to change, what your shortcomings are, what you feel about the change, also moving into gratitude and looking at expectations. Are you willing to do that so you can have the changes that you want? And that's totally up to you, my friend. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please make sure you share this with a friend and subscribe and leave a review or a comment. I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.